So you've decided you want to do some YouTube ads. What's next?
Let's tea talk about that.
So we are back for a Tea Talks, and this is the official first Tea Talk where I'm hosting, and I've got my guest as Lou. And just like the last one that I hosted with Matt, if you haven't seen Lou on this chair before, then Aaron did a show with her, and he did a proper introduction for Lou. So I'm not going to do the same for this episode. If you haven't seen that one already, then definitely go back and check it out, and you will find out everything about Lou. All her 14 years?
Oh, stop going on about the years, guys.
Straight out of primary school.
Yeah, child genius.
A prodigy when it comes to paid search.
Say that again.
A prodigy. So today we thought we would talk about one of our collectively favorite things, YouTube. And specifically, what you should do when you want to do some ads on YouTube. Say as you put it in your notes, you have your snazzy ad from Darren. What's next? So, and it's a really good question actually, because when it comes, we did a video actually, which was how to make the perfect YouTube ad. And again, if you haven't checked that Tea Talk out, go and check that one out. And I went through all of my sort of experience on how to make the perfect YouTube ad from a creative point of view. But I'm no paid search expert. What? I know, right? I've been faking it for 6 months, sat in that chair with it.
So well.
But you are, and it's exactly what I've been waiting for, because now we can go to that next step. What do you actually do to make sure that all of that creativity is not wasted on really poorly optimized ads? So, yeah, where do we begin?
So first, you need to make sure, so YouTube advertising is done through Google Ads.
Yes, they are owned by the same.
They are.
They are owned by Google, which is, it is a bit of a monopoly going on, maybe.
A mild monopoly. I think, I don't want to get them angry with me.
No, they will come for us.
Yeah, they would, yeah.
Google will come for us.
So you need your Google Ads account, and you need a YouTube channel.
Yes.
And I'd recommend, if you don't have a YouTube channel, that's the first thing you need to do whilst perhaps you're doing your content and getting it ready. Because
should it be the same Google account that you do your Google Ads with?
Yes, absolutely.
Sure.
Sometimes people do them separately, but as we'll go on to discuss, I'm sure, actually having it in the same account is really helpful for not only reporting and billing reasons, but also for data sharing reasons.
Yeah, well, and I can imagine that might be something that a lot of people just don't think about and end up just making a new thing, and then you get all the issues that come with that. So.
Yeah, back in the day, it used to be separate. So
interesting.
Now you can have it all in one place, and the best thing is you've got your tags set up already, so you can track the performance from that.
Perfect.
And with your YouTube channel, just to go back to that, I really, really recommend it's active. Like, it's not just for ads. You're putting other content.
It's not just an ad channel. You're actually doing organic content.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just for that authenticity.
Makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because Aaron has spoken a lot about before that if you want Google to treat you well, you need to treat Google well. And Google at the end of the day is a search engine. So if you're only using a YouTube account for ads, you're not really doing what YouTube wants.
Yeah, agreed.
Because you're not really filling it with content. Because as Aaron has also said, YouTube, at the end of the day, though we think of it as this big entertainment thing, is a search engine.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really good point.
And also from a consumer point of view, when you've seen an ad, or if you're doing your research as it is a search engine, and you go onto that channel and it's got just ads on it, you kind of
it removes a bit of that trust, doesn't it?
Does.
And I think trust is so important, particularly in these days when there are so many things out there that remove trust from people. Whether that's sort of the abundance of AI things out there, or big corporates.
Yeah.
Matt and I, our head of paid social, spoke about authenticity in Meta ads. And I think the same goes for YouTube.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think that's really interesting. Okay, so you have your account.
Yeah.
You have your creative.
Yeah, dreamy.
How much money am I going to have to throw at this thing?
So a rule of thumb is 15 times your CPA, your cost per acquisition, that you've
thought this through.
already got that you've already got in your account. And you don't have to go really back in time. It could be like the last 14 days, 30 days, whatever.
Okay.
But as long as it's not fluctuating too much, you just need to take that average. But it depends.
Oh God, it's again. I think this is like 4 or 5 videos in a row. It's going to be every episode.
I love it.
It does. It honestly does, though.
Yeah, it does. Because for example, if you do that, you do your 15 times your cost per acquisition, and you look and you're like, I genuinely can't afford this, but I really want to try YouTube advertising. Then the other rule of thumb is you run for at least 6 weeks. That's the minimum, the absolute minimum. My dream would be 6 months, because I don't think you'll see any brand uplift from 6 weeks. But 6 weeks will give you that good indication about whether you're feeling comfortable with it. And
it's a good baseline to have. And give me an example then of what you mean by that. Was it 15 times CPA?
Yeah. So for example, if you're looking at an e-com client, whatever your cost per acquisition on a sale. So you just ignore your ROAS, because that's not important.
But ROAS is the most important thing, right?
Sorry, yes, of course it is. I forgot myself for a moment.
So 15 times. So say, for example, your regular cost per acquisition is, say, give me an average.
£3.
£3?
Yeah,
okay.
that would be a nice CPA, wouldn't it? That would be
then
celebrating.
That 15 times that, doing some quick maths there, is going to be £45.
Yeah.
So you can spend
per day.
Per day.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So that for some clients, that's quite a big heft on what they're already spending.
And how many ads would you be running with that sort of budget?
That would be one video ad.
Okay.
Yeah, that I wouldn't.
Which is interesting, because it's not always the case, is it?
No, it isn't. But ideally you'd have 3. You'd be like doing the whole journey. Like,
sure.
It's not like just one, but just to get a flavour. And what is great about YouTube now is that demand gen has become the new video action. I loved video action campaigns because you could link it to your product feed. I genuinely saw great results from it. And demand gen just adds that extra layer because you get Gmail promotion part coming in. So yeah,
that is good. I can see why you like that.
Yeah, I do.
Before we go any further, if you're enjoying today's Tea Talk, you'll love our Grow with Evergreen podcast. Specifically created for home, garden and lifestyle brands, it's a podcast dedicated to discussing paid media and marketing. Every episode we're joined by a brand that wants to grow online. We delve into their business, dissect what they're doing and define a digital growth strategy they can take and deploy into their business. And best of all, you get to listen or watch along, then take those learnings into your own business. Make sure you check it out on YouTube, Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But for now, let's get back to today's Tea Talk.
You obviously are head of paid search. So how can paid search complement YouTube ads?
In so many ways. Oh my God, it's just...
How long have we got?
Yeah. So for starters, audiences.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean the audiences from Google Ads.
No.
So you do have that data. You can link up, for example, let's say you're running Performance Max.
Yeah.
You've created an audience signal. You know it's working. You can go one step back and perhaps go cold audience. So you just like modify your audience signal. You can use that data in YouTube. Second is you can take your audience from YouTube, so you can record all viewers of your ad, all viewers of a selection of ads, all viewers of your YouTube channel.
Wow.
Any video, and you can take that back into search and overlay that.
Oh, so they complement each other.
Oh my God, it's so
This seems like a no-brainer. Why isn't everybody doing this?
Why? Actually, don't everyone do it, because...
No, only we do it.
Yeah, only we do it. And then to your point the other day where when on one of your other Tea Talks where you talk about YouTube, the best YouTube ad, you talked about the brand recall, like being able to, making sure that CTA is there.
Yeah.
So what search can do is, to complement that, is just to make sure that every search scenario is covered. So conservatory roof replacement, for example, that could be a search term. If you look at your ad and think, I think this will prompt these searches, then you make sure that that's covered. And then you can overlay that again into search.
Amazing.
Thanks.
So, okay, so now we've got all of this information. Let's take it back a step and say, imagine we don't have our creative.
What?
I know. What a world that would be.
Awful.
Let's change that quickly.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? What's the best sort of ad to run?
The best sort of ad. So you have lots of different ones, skippable, non-skippable, in feed. My favourite is probably the non-skippable for probably obvious reasons. As a advertiser, as a consumer, skippable.
As a consumer, it's the one that I hate the most.
Yeah.
It's the thing that would actually convince me to get YouTube Premium.
Yeah.
Because it's infuriating. But
we get loads of data from it.
Yeah.
Which is really helpful. But
and if anything's going to convince me to buy something, it's going to be an ad that I can't skip.
And also those ones don't have to be very long. They can
No,
be
they
11
don't.
seconds.
No, they don't. And actually, they're the ones I'm pleasantly surprised by.
Yeah, exactly.
When I can't skip it, but it's actually shorter than an ad that I can skip for the most part. So
yeah. So you want your CTA there in the first 6 seconds. You want your brand in there in the first 6 seconds. And if you're only 11 seconds, that's not actually that intense for a viewer. It does sound really intense when you say it out loud, doesn't it?
It does, but I think it passes a lot quicker, especially if the creative's on point.
Yeah.
Because I think the best sort of creative for an ad, particularly a YouTube ad, particularly a non-skippable YouTube ad, is one where you don't feel like you're sat waiting.
Yes.
It has to engage you in a way where it doesn't necessarily feel like it's trying to engage you, but it just feels very natural. And I think you can get away with that a lot of the time. One, if your call to action is spot on, because it immediately hooks the viewer. But two, if you're going for a more authentic approach.
Yes.
And it doesn't feel like an ad. So, yeah, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, we often found that UGC outperformed lifestyle.
Interesting.
I think for that very reason.
Yeah.
And also the hook on UGC tends to, like, to your previous points before, like, ask that question, get the hook in, and you're already answering it. And unboxing ones, it's just mad how people love an unboxing.
Would you find that an ad that has, say, a voiceover versus an ad that has no talking performs better for the most part?
Yeah, that's a really, really interesting one.
I say so because it's becoming a bit of my catchphrase now, but people like people.
Yeah.
People buy from people. And I wonder if having a human element in there is going to increase that sort of, that hook, that sort of click-through rate. It's an interesting point.
I would say that the talking always does better.
Yeah.
But it's the accessibility part that's also important. So you need the captions in there because otherwise I think you do. And
would you have those captions burn into the video?
I'm going to leave that to you as the expert because I have had conversations in the past with creative experts who say that no, they should do it because it leads to less interpretation.
Yes, because you can have YouTube do it automatically, but it might be wrong.
Yeah. I
mean, we have software in our video editing that will do it automatically, and I always do that as a starting point because it just gives you a good basis.
Yeah.
But you are absolutely making a huge risk if you don't go in and check that.
Yes.
Because the amount of times where we've gone through and certain words are just completely wrong. And if you're doing that with clients, then you really, really risk that ad just not going the right way. That's interesting, though. So moving on then, my last question to you. Mm-hmm. You've got kids.
Yes, I do.
I've got a kid.
Yes.
He's turning 1 soon, actually.
Thank you.
So as he gets older, he's going to be watching some kids content, I would imagine, on YouTube.
Yeah.
I know a lot about YouTube, and there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to try and make him not watch on YouTube.
Yeah, good idea.
But if my ads are on YouTube, how do I stop it from showing up on all this kids content? Kids aren't buying my stuff.
Well, no, and also there's quite a lot of rules around advertising to kids from the ESA, but I wouldn't write them off.
No.
The kids.
These kids have got money.
They're our future. No. No, I mean, because...
Rich kids, you say?
Affluent, using Bing.
Yeah. No. Binging it. That's a callback to the last episode.
Because actually what you have to remember is that, treat YouTube as TV.
Yeah.
And also you get ads on kids content on TV, and it's not always for the kids, it's for the parents.
Yeah.
And you have to go where your audience is. And if your audience is letting their kids watch YouTube on their devices,
Sure.
there's not much you can do about that. So
No.
if you're really anti being on kids content, then you can definitely put those as negative placements.
Okay.
So I'd recommend whoever's managing your YouTube to keep an eye on it and
Sure.
have that conversation. But
Yeah.
actually go where your audience is. Don't write it off. And what you'd hope is, for the most part, parents are present with them.
You would hope
it's for
so.
them. Yeah.
You would hope so.
You would hope so.
Unfortunately, that's not always the case.
Yeah.
But I absolutely see the point.
Yeah.
Because you are absolutely right. Advertising on TV during kids' content is very frequently directed towards adults.
Yeah.
So, because they know they're going to be there with them. So maybe it's not such a bad thing.
No, it's not. And also maybe you've got like a really clever 10-year-old who knows you need a conservatory roof replacement.
And they might say to his parents,
Yeah.
our conservatory roof is terrible.
Yeah, I really hate reading
I
that.
hate
The rain
it.
is
So
noisy.
loud. I can't hear the TV. Come on. I know
let's
this
get it done.
great brand. There you go. So don't put the kids off just yet.
No. And then just because there's also lots of concern, you even kind of like touched on it about like the negative content on YouTube that's sometimes present.
Yeah.
And there are lots of ways you can exclude and make sure you have safety nets in place.
Okay.
So,
Well, that's
yeah.
good. That's
Yeah.
good, because there is a lot of stuff out there, which
Yeah.
is, I mean, they always, what is it? There's a phrase. It's something like, you're only ever 8 recommended videos away from something really dangerous on
Yeah.
YouTube.
It's kind of scary, actually.
It is very scary. But that's a topic for another day. But thank you so much for joining me
you.
on the chair on the
so
set,
exciting.
which is, again, if you've not seen the set so far, this is a brand new set for 2025, and I am absolutely loving it. Every time I look over at either my screen or Archie's screen as he's working on the videos, I am just in love with this
it's
set.
so nice.
It's beautiful. So thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed, then make sure that you do, and also click that bell so that you can be notified at the exact moment we upload a new video. We post all sorts of content here, whether it's Tea Talks, Evergreen Uncut, Grow with Evergreen. And if you go onto our website, evergreenagency.co.uk, you can also subscribe to our newsletter called Tea Break, where Erin gives you lots of information about industry things that we are currently doing, things that are on the top of his mind. It's industry insights. It's beautiful. It's fantastic. I love it all.
Yeah.
And I think you will too. So thank you again, Lou, for joining me here.
Thank you.
I can't wait to do more of these in the future,
Same.
because I think we could talk for ages about so many different things. And thank you again for watching. I'll see you next time.